Rob, top-line thoughts. How do you process that?
There's obviously a lot going on in my head a little bit. I've just said to the players, well, there's two things you can look at. You know, I came here as a player once in an Exeter team, quarter-final of a knockout competition. We thought we were going pretty well. We lost 76-0. So things go round. You know, it's no world-ending events happen in 40, 80 minutes, whatever they are. I mean, a few things conspired against us today. Some of it very good play by Leicester. Some of it some poor play by us. I just said to the lads, look, obviously how we come through today is very important for us moving forward for the remainder of this season. I said, but we do have to. I said, the one thing we do have to ask each other and ourselves and challenge ourselves on is, you know, what were our individual bits and pieces like? Because I think today was a classic example of an individual error led to a massive amount of pressure, which potentially then led to a card or a scramble. So, you know, that red card really effectively comes out as missing a tackle in the middle of the field. We're under pressure, we're scrambling like mad, everyone's doing everything they can to work really hard to stop the try being scored, and it suddenly becomes a yellow and a red card and a penalty try. But you've got to deal with those things down the line that they happen, really. And as much as you love to have a scramble and you love to have a fight at the end, it's the A's and the B's and bits and pieces. And it felt today like this was a real game where our little individual errors just multiplied and multiplied and multiplied, and the pressure heaped and heaped and heaped. But to be fair, that is a lot of credit to Tigers as well for maintaining pressure. But if you actually look at the story of that first half, most of the pressure in the game was created by us. You know, we're controlling quite a lot of territory, fair bit of possession. We're well in the game despite a yellow card, despite conceding a couple of relatively soft tries. You kind of describe them as that, really, like kicks behind, etc. And now it feels like that second half's completely run away from us. But I think I got based on multiple pressure, obviously 13 men at one stage. Then Tigers obviously getting their tails up, and we didn't really know how to get our way back into things.
I know right now this is not the priority, this is not top of your list of things to get right, but the red card, I know you have concerns over in a wider sense as to how moments like that impact on the whole game. What's the alternative?
Listen, I think it's very important. I know I said some of this during the week. This is not me criticising officials or referees, because there's a framework to work from, and they're just following it through. But I think we probably need to have a chat about how do we want to create these scenarios so often with mismatches kind of all the time. It almost seems to be our first sanction to go to is, or can we remove players off the field?
What would an alternative be?
Well, like I said, I think there's some alternatives around foul play in particular, where, you know, other sports, the player's ejected, but you replace the player on the field. You still suffer as a team. You start to use your subs early. That player can potentially still receive a ban down the line. There are still things we can do if we talk about wanting to change behaviour. For me, I think a yellow card should really, someone being removed from the pitch, should only really be for obviously very serious foul play, which we always want to make sure we have a way of sanctioning it for obvious reasons. We always have had. And then other than that, potentially I think yellow cards, they should be a reward for good attacking play. So, you know, multiple penalties, 5 metres out, deliberately killing something leading to a try. I get that, because that's rewarding the attack. But it seems like now it's got into it. I think today's red card is a bit of an anomaly in a lot of ways, isn't it? I mean, this is different to the cards I'm talking about on the whole. But I do think we need to try, and if we want to build a TV audience, we want to build things in the future, just keeping games, as I say, as close as they can and as much jeopardy as they can, and tries still being scored, because tries still scored in 15 on 15 games would just be something I think just keeps the game alive a little bit more than potentially what happens sometimes.
Still a huge weekend ahead in Bordeaux. Reassure supporters this evening, Rob, that this isn't a season-endingly, damagingly defeat.
Well, that's what we've got to make sure we do. We've got to make sure that it doesn't become that, and that's what you do. You move forward as players, you move forward as coaches, you move forward as a team. You deal with the bits you can deal with, and you look for the improvements where you can find them, and you lock yourself back down again. That's what a team should be able to do. You should be able to deal with some wounding moments and through a season. Leicester had one against Leinster not very long ago. They've now kind of refocused themselves into this competition. We perhaps maybe didn't quite refocus into the Premiership, as perhaps maybe we are focusing on Europe. And, you know, I think we paid the price today. Like I said, we paid the price for a lot of things today. It really has felt like a game where everything that could haunt us or could work against us did. And we've just got to brush ourselves down and get on with things. That's what you have to do. You know, life goes on. It was a game of rugby. We dust ourselves down and we get on with things. That's all we can do.
Thanks, Rob.
Well, thanks, folks.